Paul? Yes? Okay, I am going to.
Hold on.
Whoa, whoa. Call the meeting to order. It is 7:01 p.m. We are at the Genoa Township Hall at 5111 South Old 3C Highway, Westerville, Ohio, 43082. We have three items on the agenda tonight. BZA case 2024-07, which is an area variance at 4777 Worthington Road, this is the third meeting for that application. We have BZA case 2024-13, which is an area variance at 5865 Ridgewood Avenue. This is the second meeting for that. And then BZA case 2025-01, which is an area variance for 6387 Lake Trail Drive, which is the first meeting. However, it is my understanding that that application has been withdrawn.
Correct. We got
Okay.
notification of that late this afternoon.
Right, I think I saw it about 4:30 or 5. Okay, I will call the roll. Ms. Yu?
Here.
Mr. DeRose?
Here.
Mr. Christian?
Here.
Mr. Campanella?
Here.
Mr. Phillips and Mr. Hanson are both absent. I need to read this into the record. As is the adopted policy of the Board of Zoning Appeals, all applicants will be granted an opportunity to make their formal presentation. The audience will then be granted an opportunity to comment, followed by questions from the board. This policy was adopted by the Board of Zoning Appeals to provide for the orderly discussion of business scheduled for consideration. The chairperson may limit repetitive debate. The first item for consideration is the meeting minutes from November 19th, 2024. And I will give you a moment to look those over, and then I will entertain a motion for approval. Oh. No. This is 28, 25. Phillips is not here. You, Hanson, DeRose, Christian, Campanella. All right. Okay, motion to approve.
So moved.
Any second?
Second.
Okay, any revisions, anything that we need to correct? No? Then all in favor of approval of the meeting minutes from November 18th, 2024, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, you had me nervous there for a minute. Okay. All right, I'm going to skip a little bit. I'm going to move to the one on Ridgewood, which is, yes, 5865 Ridgewood Avenue. The applicant has requested a continuance from today until the March 18th meeting, I believe it is. And I think we need to do a motion for that if I'm not mistaken. So I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing for the subject located at 6387 Lake Trail Drive, BZA case 2025-01 until.
That you're reading the Lake Trail Drive. Yeah.
There was withdrawn.
Oh, I'm sorry, I said Lake Trail.
We're
I meant
on script
Ridgewood.
page 5.
Sorry about that. Sorry, I'm new here. Oh, and I was right on it, too.
And just so you know, the March meeting date.
Did I? That 18th didn't sound correct.
No, it actually is the 18th. We bumped it up a week because of spring break.
Oh, okay.
But the material deadline, unless you opt to change it, is February 18th.
February 18th?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's fine. And that's for them to provide, for the applicant to provide additional revised materials, which will be due on February 18th, as Joe just stated. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. DeRose. Any discussion? Okay, I will call the roll. Mr. Campanella,
Aye.
Mr. Christian,
Yes.
Mr. DeRose,
Aye.
Ms. Yu,
Yes.
chair votes yes. It is continued to the March 18th meeting. Okay, at this time, the only remaining item on the agenda is the area variance for, is it 4777? Yes, Worthington Road in Westerville. And at this time, I will make a motion that we go into, what, is it executive session?
Nope.
No.
Private deliberations.
Private deliberations, thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Can I just do a voice vote, or do I need to call a roll? I can't remember.
I would do a roll.
Okay, Mr. Campanella?
Yes.
Mr. Christian?
Yes.
Ms. Yu?
Yes.
And Mr. DeRose?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. So we will go into private deliberations at this time.
added, we'd be adding
Oh, it's G, okay.
A through G.
No, it's F unless,
we're through that.
unless we're getting more stuff to
Yes,
add.
yes,
Unless
we're
we're
adding
adding,
And then you have nothing.
Okay, so we're at F.
you're at F.
I couldn't
F
remember, I
was-
thought it was G, but, you know, can't go by name.
A through.
Okay, we are back in session and it is 7:45. And at this time, let's hear from the applicant. Do you have anything, any revisions, any?
No revisions. I think that at one point in time, I don't know. I think the only thing that we discussed, and I'm not sure if it's in the meeting minutes.
Sure.
Was about the possibility of putting the sign on a timer so that it goes off at a.
We did discuss that,
Yes.
yes.
And so I just wanted to remind you all that that is still out there and that we would be willing to add a timer to turn off the lighting at a time that would be agreeable to the board. And again, I think that would be the only thing that is new in terms of what we had discussed in the past. So that is still out there, and, you know, if there is a time that you all would like to offer, we can certainly discuss that.
Well, we don't really do that, so, okay. You know, the one thing that I noticed we did not do, but I don't know that we need to, is swear everybody in again. So if you want to go ahead, those that are going to testify, please raise your hands, and raise your right hand and signal. Jeez. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, be seated, thank you. And just so everyone's aware, this is our third reading of this application. We've had public discussion at the first two. There will be no public comment on this evening regarding the application. We're going to. Someone yelled out, "Why is that?"
Why is what?
There's no public comment, because we've had public comment twice on the application. So, unless you have new information, there will be no public comment. All right, moving on. There's no new exhibits. The applicant is willing to add the timer. Okay, does somebody want to go through Duncan?
I will.
Is there any questions that?
Is there, does staff have any updates, any update on the staff report, anything like that?
I have nothing to update. I just know you talked about the zoning resolution amendment that was in the process at the last meeting.
No, we really didn't, but we did.
Well, I know it was alluded to at least at one point. So that document's still pending with the zoning commission. Candidly, I don't know when, if ever, it'll get adopted. They don't have a timeline, a deadline set for it.
Right.
They are in the formal public hearing process, but they're through about maybe Article 5 of actually reviewing the document. And there's, if you recall, 27 articles, and they're doing one meeting a month. They're not doing special meetings. So
Okay.
I anticipate it'll be a few more months at least for the
Right.
zoning commission to deal with it before the trustees even get their hands on it. So
I guess that would be the only comment I had is do you all want, we don't know what's going to come out of what the planning commission and the trustees will ultimately come up with.
Correct.
You know, you're not sure, so.
So it's an application today.
Yes.
And we're going to view it based on today's zoning
Zoning code,
resolution.
okay.
Not 6 months, 9 months, 2
Okay.
years, 5
Okay.
years. So you're here today.
I am here
So
today,
we're
and
all living with today's zoning resolution.
and I apologize for running a little late. Columbus was a little late.
It's a little challenging sometimes.
I got up
know.
here in lickety-split time.
Did anybody want to ask the question of the applicant about the removal of the?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to start.
Go ahead, Paul.
Before I
Yeah.
start going through the Duncan Middlefield things, I wanted to know, I'm going back through my notes and what I recollect from prior meetings on this. What was your client's response, or could it be obviated by painting over that stripe to be the same color as the rest of the wall so that the sign, what is being considered a sign
Yeah.
would be technically removed? I know they talked about chipping at it, and
Yeah.
but also if you painted that strip
Yep.
the same color as the wall, wouldn't that?
Oh, it would, again, part of the, how do I want to say this? When we discussed this, the past two hearings, initially, the problem and what was clear to my client was that you had lettering that represented, in his mind, was the sign. And then what happened was the underlying stripe, unfortunately for him, counts as a part of a sign.
Right.
And so it went from 23 feet to 38 feet. So
Counsel, all I'm asking is that,
I think at that time, he
can
said,
this be painted over? This part,
yes.
here to here?
I think he would be willing to do it if it meant something for the board.
Well, I
Well, you
mean,
wouldn't need us if you painted over it, would he, Joe?
Yes.
No, I think they
Well,
still
I've got
would.
like 6 people talking. So what, Joe?
Well, okay, so let's look at the dimensions here. So if you measure just the height of the letters, they're showing it 1 feet, 2 inches, correct?
Yep.
right.
And the total width is still 19 feet, 10 inches. So
Correct.
you're
Right.
still gonna have a sign that's, roughly 20 square feet in size.
Yep.
And their cumulative allowance is still, and they've got two signs, both with that. So 20 plus 20 equals 40.
Right.
And again, those are just ballpark figures. But I know their cumulative allowance is still less than 40, so it might reduce the degree of the ask.
Yes.
So right now, the request is for 76.02778 for both sides.
Correct.
If you drop that down to, if the stripe is removed, that would drop it down to approximately 40. Right?
Well, you'd have to do 19 feet, 10 inches times 1 feet, 2
It's
inches.
23.2 inches if you just do the lettering itself
For each side.
for each sign.
So then you have to,
Actually,
actually, I think that's what that 21.13
yes,
is actually trying to represent.
exactly. That was the misunderstanding, was that the lettering itself represented, when you added the 16 plus the area add-ons, the percentage add-ons that were allowed under code, because it allowed a 45% increase based on the length of the frontage and all the setbacks and everything. So the misunderstanding was, hey, we're allowed 23 feet, we're giving you 23 feet, and then somebody said, ooh, but the stripe also counts as part of the signage. So that's where it went from 23 to 38.
Right, no, Counsel, I understand all that.
Yes.
And I didn't intend to rehash this.
Yes.
What I'm saying is, since the last
I
time we were,
apologize.
since the last time we were here, has
Yes.
your client painted over?
He
this?
has not,
He's
but that was part of the discussion
But
at the
But
last
as of we
meeting.
sit here today, he has not.
He has not.
Okay, thank you. That's all I need to know.
So, just so I'm clear, if he paints over it, it is still non-compliant.
Correct.
Okay, do we know how much of it is non-compliant?
So,
There were 38-foot signs, square foot signs.
I want to make sure I get this correct, so I'm going to go grab the book from the cart back there, because I thought I had it, but I don't.
Absolutely, because I think it's important.
Yes.
I wasn't a math major, I was a liberal arts major, so you can't.
Memory.
So we are in Article 18,
06.
Section 1806.
.06.
So I'm going to back up a little bit, though. So under
Okay.
1806.04, without any bonuses, they're
16.
entitled, with their frontage being greater than 150 feet, of road frontage.
Okay.
They're entitled to 2 freestanding signs with a cumulative square footage of 16 square feet between both signs. So when you add both signs together, they weren't supposed to exceed 16.
So 8 and 8.
Essentially, yeah,
And
in a way, in a manner of speaking, yes.
They're round numbers 20 and 20.
Now, they're,
23 and 23.
so they are claiming some bonuses.
Yep.
That allow them to keep the 2 freestanding signs that they're already proposing would be allowed to by code anyway. The number of freestanding signs has never been the issue. If they can max out the bonuses, which they have said that they can, under section 1806.06A,
For discussion.
for the purpose of discussion, that 16 cumulative number gets increased to 24 cumulative square
So
feet.
then it's 12. and
So
12.
a singular sign, if they were just doing one freestanding sign and that bar got painted over, then yes, they would be compliant. However, they have 2 freestanding signs, so when you double the 23, they are still nearly
Right where I was going.
double.
Okay.
Could you tell me this, a code site that you, the bonus, what, you cited a code?
If all the bonus sections are maxed out, the up to 24 cumulative square feet is specified in section 1806.06.A.
Okay, thank you.
And I believe the applicant has testified during the prior hearings that they can meet those bonus criteria.
Okay,
And that's fine.
all right,
Bonus or not, they're still non-compliant.
all right.
Correct.
So I'm gonna-
Painting the bar does not bring the sign into compliance.
Correct.
Right.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? I'll start through if there's anything else. George, were there other questions?
I don't. You guys have any questions? No? Go ahead. You go through Barrow versus Millfield.
So, the first one, the property in question would yield a reasonable return, and there can be beneficial use of the property without the variance. Well, this discussion has been a sign. It's not a structure, it's not a part of a house, not an addition, not in a garage, nothing that goes to actual use other than, to me, it's just signage. And from my view, that is something that they can get without having the variance. I mean, it's, anybody else?
They know where their house is. They don't need this sign to tell them where their house is.
The variance is, as I look at it, is not just substantial, it's very substantial. This is the way I've gone through in some of the questions here today, is that there are 2 signs, 38 square foot signs. Cumulatively, I think the exact thing is 76.02778 square feet. And even with the bonuses under section 1806.06.A, even if we went through just a discussion of mitigation that's been discussed over multiple hearings and as was confirmed today, no mitigation has even been attempted on here. And even with the bonuses, getting it up to 46 square, they would still be at 46 square feet without if they got it down to 23 per sign, which still just about doubles the allotment.
And I think we went through that.
Right.
Whole process in the first hearing, if I'm not mistaken. Go ahead.
Again, my problem tonight is my client's not here. And I'd like to have him here if you all plan to vote on this.
Well, Counselor, I mean, I think that you're here for a vote and you brought presents. If your clients weren't going to attend, you and I both know that doesn't fly.
Well, I mean, he is the one who ultimately has to live with the vote of the board.
And you're his agent.
That is true, but I was told that, I mean, my understanding when we moved this to this date, the idea was that the Planning Commission and the Township Trustees would have adopted a new code by that time, and therefore we would be dealing with different set of regulations. That's why we said, let's put it out.
Counselor, we've met on this 3 times. You're here as his agent. I think we should proceed.
How about if I withdraw the application and then we resubmit if we make modifications to the sign.
I can't get, I don't think this body can give you, advice on this.
Yeah.
But, I mean, whatever decision you as their council make, we will
Well,
certainly
I
respond
think
to.
if my only option is to withdraw the application,
Okay?
then I'll withdraw the application, and if the need be that we do something, I can sit down with my client.
Well, so let me just say legally, an applicant has the ability to withdraw an application anytime prior to a vote. That's the legal standard. So,
Okay, then I'm gonna hold my comment.
Are you withdrawing your application?
I think if I'm seeing that I'm not going to get the opportunity to view what's coming from the planning commission and city council, I've been to, and the township trustees, I thought that was the intent of coming this evening, was to simply say, hey, guys, we've still got some time to go because they haven't fully vetted what they want to present to the trustees and get a final vote on. But if you're telling me that, hey, I'm going to vote tonight on what's before us, and if there's something we can do to make it more palatable, I'd rather do that.
Council, and I can't speak for the chair, I'll
Yeah.
speak for my individual
Yeah.
part on this board. We are, government does function by its independent bodies, and we have a hearing here today on
Yeah.
your application. I understand, I was part of the discussions last go-around, that we were under the anticipation
Yeah,
that.
and that's
there-
why I came to-
And we held off our vote because if the board, zoning commission was going to alter the standards by which we would review your application, then it was only fair to give you some time to allow that process to play out.
Yeah.
As we sit here tonight, we're here on your application, we've been advised that due to whatever reasons and the process of governments and good deliberation, that wasn't modified for tonight, and we do not have a firm date when it will happen. And so your application is going forward
Okay.
tonight unless you decide on behalf of your client to withdraw the application.
Well, why don't we, again, withdraw the application, make modifications to the sign that could bring it into greater compliance?
Let me just say this
Yeah.
about that. First of all, this has been going on since April of last year. They've had almost a year, and I understand that they have the ability to withdraw up until we take a vote.
Yeah.
But what leads me to believe today that they're gonna make modifications that they've had a year to do to be in compliance?
Well, I think the idea was, do you go tear something down before you understand what the limitations are?
Well, they should have read the code.
And now I can tell him.
Counsel,
They should have read the code. It was right there. It's public record. Anybody in here can read it.
if it pleases the
Come
chair.
on. Go ahead, Bob.
Thank you. Counsel, like I said, we're not here to give you any declaratory advice.
Yeah.
The idea, and we won't give you any notions on any modifications. We've had
Yeah.
lots of discussions over multiple things. If you withdraw your application, which I think you have,
Yeah.
so therefore discussions, as I understand it, are over. And if you make modifications, they are what they are, and another application will be reviewed
Yeah.
on the merits of that application.
That application, absolutely.
That is true.
That is true.
Okay. Do we have to vote on that? I don't think we do. do we?
No.
All right, it's withdrawn, it's withdrawn. Hearing's over at 8:03 PM.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, I will, at this time, I think I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll do that motion.
All in favor?
Aye,
Any
aye, aye,
opposed?
aye, aye.
Okay, we're adjourned.
Thank you, folks, and thank you for